breaking news. And after the World Bank and Moody's, you've got S&P ratings which are coming out. And let's give out a sense what S&P is now saying. Growth will remain strong for the next 2 years. They've kept India's outlook as stable. They've also said that the ratings agency, while taking a favorable view on reforms being undertaken, and the India outlook remains stable. This is what Standard & Poor's is stating. Let's go across to our executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, joining us with more. So Abhishek, this is another thumbs up, another good piece of news for the Indian government, for Indian people after the messages that came from the World Bank and Moody's?
Well, absolutely, Parikshit. In fact, if you go into the detail of this rating review that has come by Standard & Poor's, grading it as stable, it says, and the rationale that went into deciding on this rating is that the ratings essentially reflect India's strong GDP numbers, sound external profile, which essentially means the trade scenario, as also the foreign exchange pity that is there, improving monetary credibility, strong democratic institutions, and in fact, it goes in detail about the stability of the government in terms of domination of the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance. It talks about the manner in which the reforms have gone, and it mentions about demonetization and its impact, its long-term impact, and it says that given the planned ramp up in public sector-led infrastructure investment and the persistent deficits, especially at the state level, fiscal consolidation is an issue. Despite that, it seems that the overall fiscal scenario is going to remain robust and the government is going to meet its targets, and that is why they have kept the ratings at stable. Now, remember, Parikshit, the Moody's rating had come from favorable, had become stable, and from Ba3 to Ba2. This time, it is being maintained stable. Despite that, if you go into the detail of the rationale that has been given by Standard & Poor's, it shows the government doing something about the situation, government in control of its finances, and the government generally being reform-oriented, because of which the economy looks set for an upswing between the 2018 and 2020 period. That is what the ratings upgrade, that is what the rationale says, and they believe that in the next 2 years, India is going to remain one of the best performing economies around the world.
Okay. Also, Abhishek, recently we had the chief economic advisor criticizing ratings agencies for the methods they adopt to come to a conclusion. So the fact that S&P has maintained the rating at BBB, how does the Indian government see this? Do they feel that the rating should have been better, or are they welcoming the fact that the rating has remained unchanged and the outlook remains stable?
Being a standard, what shall I say, a grouse of the government that the agencies look at India in a very unfavorable manner. They don't take into account the kind of reforms that have gone into. But of late, you would see that be it the World Bank ratings of ease of doing business, the index that came out, or the Moody's ratings that saw a review or upgrade after almost 14 years. And now Standard & Poor's, though they have not really upgraded the rating, they have the rationale that they have given presents a really very comforting picture so far as the government's position on overall reforms is concerned, overall stability of the government is concerned, and overall orientation of the government when it comes to taking some tough measures. So, for example, this particular rating today that has come out of the Standard & Poor's, they have underscored the resolve that the government showed in terms of rollout of GST, which is going to have long-term beneficial consequences for the economy as a whole, despite a two-quarter dip in the growth numbers. So, in effect, it seems that that were made or put in by the Modi government in terms of educating these as to the reforms that have been taken, the reforms that are being pushed, it seems to reflect fruit answering your question. Be it the World Bank, be it the Moody's, and now, of course, the Standard & Poor's, everyone really taking note of what the government has been doing to keep the economy on an even keel or even reviving it despite some tough measures that have been taken.